Good grief. I know we're running late. I know. Daddy's running late. I know. You were ready to do the show, and Daddy wasn't ready to do the show. Daddy was putting away the groceries. Yes, Daddy put away the groceries, and I had to get the groceries done, and I had to eat a little something to dinner, and then I was running late. But we made it on time, because we're on time beagles. That's right. We're not late beagles. We're on time beagles. Okay, ready? You ready? Okay. Ready to do the show? Okay. All right. Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Ready to go live. Okay. Welcome to MUDDIN and BEAGS, episode 44. We are live. We are ready to go. We are very on time tonight. By the hair of our chinny chin. Woo! I just got in this chair. I've been going all day power washing, spring cleaning. Then I had to go to the grocery store. And then I just got back and I had to eat dinner and put the groceries away, walk the dog. Woo! I'm here. How's everybody doing? Hello, Miss Teresa. Hello, Miss Hippie. Let me catch my breath here. I've been running. So, okay, let's go ahead and get the pleasantries out of the way. Hello, Miss Virginia. How you doing? We'll go ahead and get the pleasantries out of the way, then we'll see what we can get into.
You think you know me? You think you know my struggles, my pain, my journey? Let me tell you something. Don't judge me by what you see or hear. I didn't walk this path to impress anyone. People love to point fingers, to act like they know everything. They don't know my story. You don't know what I had to sacrifice. Because everything I've become was built from battles you never saw.
Okie dokie. We are ready to rock and roll. Okay, so how's it going, Mr. Siggy? We're going to continue with Hump Cut, Pittsburgh Hump Cut images this week. However, we're going to start off with a little something different, a little bit of extra something I've been working on this week. With the hump cut, I thought I'd share with you, fine ladies and gentlemen. And so let me present, hey, zip it. Let me present the screen here. Let's see. Let me catch my breath. I'm sweating. I have literally been running like crazy. Okay, I'm going to show this one. Let me make sure my doodad is right. Okay. And no, that's not the right one. This is the right one. Okay. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. It's not. Hold on. There we go. Okay. That's the one that I want. Sorry, folks. Okay. I got my act together now. Okay. So, how's it going? Ha. So, what we're looking at here is a hush, honey. Here, have a biscuit and take a big old cup of shut up. Let me do my show, or our show. I guess it's your show too. Big mouth beagle hound. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a Sanborn fire map from damn, I don't remember what year, which one this is. This one is 1905 or something. It's not on here. Hold on, I can hold on. Let me see. Bear with me a second. I would like to tell you. Oh, I can tell you. It's from 1905. And then the next one, I'm going to show you. I forget what year it's from. Okay, bear with me, folks. There's a point to this. Okay, so what we have here is this is the area of the hump cut that was done. This was a Sanborn fire map that was taken in 1905, and so this is before the hump cut was done. Hump cut was done in 1912 and 13, and this little block here, from Grant Street to Cherry Alley to Oliver to Fifth, this little block of real estate here has been bothering me, because during the hump cut it was clear. It was cleared out, but it looked like there had been something there before. And so when I went to look at the Sanborn fire map, there was nothing there. Now, this is prime real estate. This is the Frick building, and the Allegheny Courthouse is right here. And this is the Carnegie building. And so I wanted to know what was going on with this little block here. Well, it's not little. It's a whole street. It's a square city block. Okay. So I went and did a little digging, and I found out what the deal was with it. Now, I don't know if this will switch over. Let me try and see if that switches. I don't know if this is going to switch over. Tell you what, let me remove and then try it again with the next image. Sorry, I didn't have time to do my show prep. I've been busy all day. So this is a map from 1893, a Sanborn fire map of the same area. Now, it's laid out differently because the further back you go, the smaller the maps get. The less they show on the maps. But what you'll see here is you've got the Allegheny Courthouse, the county jail is right here. This is all the hump cut area. And right here, it shows St. Peter's Episcopal Church, and then this looks like multiple buildings where the Frick building would be, and this little block here is where the Carnegie building would later be built. And so we know the Frick building is old world, so this right here is probably bullshit. I have not looked into this building, but that'll be something I need to look into. But here's the answer to the question. What is in that block, that empty block? It is St. Paul's Cathedral. And it took up the whole block between the chapel, the cathedral, and the school, and the bishop's dwelling, storage. Okay, it was a massive freaking 200-foot towers, 750-foot tower. That's what it's labeled as. And so this was a monster. So that answers that question. Now, I went in and looked to see. Oh, no. Let's see, where am I? Okay. I went in to see what I could find on this church. Now, this is Wikipedia, and it says St. Paul Cathedral is the mother church of the Diocese of Pittsburgh, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the United States. St. Paul's Parish was established in Pittsburgh in 1833. when the Diocese of Pittsburgh was erected in 1843. St. Paul's became its first cathedral. The first cathedral destroyed by fire in 1851. So the what was on that Sanborn fire map from 1893, I believe it was not the original church, from what they're saying, from the official history. The first church burned to the ground, was replaced in 1855 by the second cathedral. Now that's the one that's in the Sanborn fire map. The third and current St. Paul's Cathedral was consecrated in 1906. It seats approximately 3,000 worshipers. So there's a third one. Now, what we're going to learn is, we're going to keep on going here. St. Paul's Cathedral traces its history to St. Paul's Church in Pittsburgh. At that time, the Pittsburgh area was under the jurisdiction of the Diocese of Philadelphia and had only one parish. St. Patrick's, needing a second parish in the city, the Catholic community laid the cornerstone for St. Paul's Church in 1829. It was I guess that's a typo. It was dedicated in 1833. So the first church was built in 1829, 1833, somewhere around there, supposedly. Supposedly, now this is all hearsay because we don't have any evidence of a first church. I couldn't find none. The new church was located on Grant Street in downtown, on the same location that we're talking about. When Pope Gregory erected the Diocese of Pittsburgh in 1843, St. Paul's Church became the first St. Paul's Cathedral. The first St. Paul's Cathedral during the 1840s, the city of Pittsburgh started digging out the streets. Here they're talking about the original hump cut, okay, around St. Paul's Cathedral to lower their grade. Give me a second. This left the cathedral 30 feet above street level. 30 feet above street level. When they dug out the streets, it left the church 30 feet above street level. Now that's freaking interesting. This left the cathedral, in addition, the cathedral foundations were undetermined by the street alterations. Now, what does that mean? I don't even know what that means. In addition, the cathedral foundations were undetermined by the street alterations. Can anybody explain to me what that means? I don't even know what that means. Like, that's like some like airy-fairy, I have no idea what that means in technical terms. I don't know. I can't figure that sentence out. In 1850, the Diocese decided to demolish the current building and construct a new cathedral at the lower street level. Okay, so they got a church now sitting 30 feet in the air, okay, and they get rid of it and want to take it down to street level. However, before the project could start, the first St. Paul's Cathedral was destroyed by fire in May 1851. The cornerstone for the new St. Paul's Cathedral was laid on the site of the burned cathedral on June 1851, and the basement was completed in 1853. The basement was completed. Like, why are they pointing out the basement being completed? I mean, I'm smelling some hanky-panky here. The second St. Paul's Cathedral was consecrated in 1855 as the downtown area was claimed by industries and residential areas shifted to other areas of the city. By the beginning of the 20th century, the Diocese needed a third new cathedral to accommodate its rapid growth. It sold the Grant Street property to the industrialist Henry Clay Frick. And there's that name again. We know who he is, I'm sure. And purchased land in the Oakland neighborhood of Pittsburgh for the new structure. Bishop Richard Phelan hired the architects Eglin and Prindville of Chicago to design the new cathedral. They used Cologne Cathedral in Cologne, Germany as their inspiration. The contractor for the project was Thomas Riley of Philadelphia. The cornerstone for the third St. Paul's Cathedral was laid in 1903. This is all night before 1943, which is my cutoff date for Mudflood information. Third St. Paul's Cathedral, third and current St. Paul's Cathedral was dedicated in 1906. It became the contributing property to the Schley Farms Historic District on the National Register of Historic Places in 1983. Between 2005 and 2007, Dionysus renovated the cathedral for the first time. Let's see if there's anything. Had a pipe organ. Okay, that's all I wanted to go through for that. Now, this here is the third St. Paul's Cathedral. And I find a high resolution glass plate negative of this badass. I mean, this is the third church, massive church that they built. Now, this one was built on a different site. It's higher up the hill, away from the Hump cut area. But this thing is still there today. You can go in there and take a look at it. But it is a hell of a thing. I mean, this thing is, this is real deal old world architecture. So my guess is that this was here already, and they're just coming up with a horseshit narrative. Hold on, let me these are all out of order. This is the interior of that third cathedral. Okay, so to give you an idea, I mean, in my opinion, and opinions like assholes, my opinion is that this is an old world structure, and it was not built when they said it was built. I think they're slinging horseshit narrative at us. Okay, now this is the second church. This is the one that is on the Sanborn fire map. This is the one that was destroyed by fire too, I believe. It was either destroyed by fire or demolished. But it I didn't find great photos of it, but it has massive arched windows going into the ground. And this thing, the towers are absolutely humongous. It was a massive church. And this is the one that they built second because they wanted it to be at the new Hump cut level, the first Hump cut. Now, keep in mind, they dropped the Hump cut another 15 to 16, 17 feet from where this is in 1912. So they took off. The first church was about 40 to 45 feet roughly higher than current street level today. Okay. This is something I found on it. It said a postcard image postmarked 1905 showing the second version of St. Paul's Cathedral, then located at 5th and Grant in downtown Pittsburgh, built from 1853 to 1870. The church remained in use until 1906, which is right before the Hump cut, when the land was purchased by Henry Clay Frick and the cathedral replaced with the Union Trust building. Now, this is something we're going to look at too. A new St. Paul's Cathedral was built in Oakland, and it opened in 1906, and that's the third church. Some may wonder what the small, ornate cathedral-like structures are at the top of the Union Trust building, which is still there today. We're going to look at that. These are mechanical buildings designed to have cathedral-like appearance. The reason for this is that when Frick bought the land with the purpose of tearing down the cathedral to build his new commercial building, the bishop of the Diocese of Pittsburgh placed a restrictive covenant on the land. The covenant stated that although the land would now have commercial purposes, residents would always remember the cathedral once stood there. Now, how weird is that? Okay, there's another picture of that second church, and you can see these massive arched windows that went down there. Now they say there was two churches on this site. I don't believe there was one. I believe there was this church. I believe the first church that they say burned down is horseshit narrative. Okay. And I believe they demolished this one right before the hump cut, probably because it went way deeper and they didn't want to explain it. And they wanted to build this Union Trust building. And we're going to look at it, and it's rather weird too. Here's some more. On June 24th, 1829, the cornerstone was laid for the original St. Paul's church in downtown Pittsburgh. The historic event marked the creation of what would later become the first St. Paul's Cathedral, serving as the foundational milestone for the second Catholic parish in the city to accommodate the rapidly growing population. The 1829 origins. Prior to 1829, Pittsburgh had only a single Catholic parish, St. Patrick's. As immigration and the local population boomed in the 1820s, a committee of local Catholics organized and purchased a plot of land at the corner of Grant Street and Fifth Avenue in downtown Pittsburgh. Following the cornerstone placement in 1829, construction continued until the building was completed and officially dedicated in 1834. Transition to a cathedral when Pope Gregory officially erected the Roman Catholic Diocese of Pittsburgh in 1843. St. Paul's Church was elevated to serve as the diocese's very first cathedral. The evolution and relocation. The original 1829 lineage evolved through several structural phases due to rapid industrialization of Pittsburgh. The 1851 fire, the first downtown cathedral, was completely destroyed by massive fire on May 5th, 1851. A second, larger brick cathedral was built on the same site and was consecrated in 1855. Industrial boom and relocation. By the turn of the 20th century, downtown Pittsburgh became dominated by heavy industry and corporate offices. The diocese sold the valuable downtown real estate to industrialist Henry Clay Frick. The present Oakland Cathedral, using the funds from the property sale, construction began the current St. Paul Cathedral in Oakland neighborhood, completed in 1906. This magnificent 14th century Gothic revival masterpiece remains the active mother church of the diocese today. And see, okay, here's another picture of the second church. And I think this, even though it's an artistic rendering, I think this is about the most accurate image that we're going to get for it. But you see that how the road goes down, and you got these huge arches going down, cymatic windows. I mean, this thing was a badass. Humongous sucker. And then this was, I guess, the priest house. Okay, so now there's that. So we got that part. Now let me share this. Wait, did I just stop sharing? I did. Okay, hold on. I stopped sharing the thing I shared. Okay. Did I get the thing right? And okay, so this is the Union Arcade construction. When they tore down the second St. Paul's Cathedral, Henry Clay Frick built the Union Trust building, or the Union Arcade as it was called when they built it. Now, it is really interesting. Supposedly, Union Arcade, Frick, This is, I guess, 1916. Um, and it's got some really interesting stuff on the bottom here. There is a lot of pictures of the construction of this building, and we will look at this another time because it has to do with when it's in the hump cut area, number one, and number two, it shows the hump cut after the hump cut. So we're definitely going to be looking at. This is what they're talking about. How the Catholic Church wanted this building to remind people that there was a Catholic Church there. Horseshit narrative. That is what they're slinging here. But look at the freaking top of this sucker. I mean, it is incredible. So I'm kind of putting this one in the anomaly category, where it's a building that is anomalous. And I'm wondering if it goes into the 1943 matrix change. There is the unscrubbed coffin-shaped cartouche. So, anyways, we got that. Now, that being said, that's about the end of that presentation. Now let me set up for another presentation. How's everybody doing out there? Hello, Shauna. What's going on, Heap Shake? What's up, Floppy? How you behaving yourself? Alrighty. Okay. Hey, Tommy Rogers. What's going on? Siggy. How's Florida today? So, I did some work this week. If I can figure out where I did it. Okay, here we go. So, where do I want to start? Okay, I guess I'll start here. Bear with me, folks. This presentation is a little bit different. Okay, so let me share the first image. Okay, so what we're looking at here is this is a Sanborn fire map from, I believe, 1905, and this is the key. Okay, and the reason I'm showing you this is because I want to show you this. This area here that I have highlighted in green is the hump cut area. Now, I've been telling you guys that 85% of the hump cut area was demolished after they did the hump cut. And I went in this week and I did a little bit of research, and I am now changing that to 97.5% of the structures in the hump cut area were demolished. Now, this Sanborn fire map is showing the hump cut area. Now, I have gone through and meticulously checked every single structure on this map and compared it to what is there today. And I now have a pretty damn accurate accounting of what was there, what they demolished, and what is left. And on this first page, I want you to notice all the buildings that are just on this page. Okay? Now, This is my findings. The blue is the hump cut map. It is the map overlaid on this map. It is the roads that they cut down from my blueprint. Because if you know, I have the actual Pittsburgh hump cut blueprints in my possession. And so I accurately drew on here the hump cut map. What you see in green is gone, is demolished, is no more. Everything that is not in green is still there. So this building is here, this building is here, these buildings are here, these buildings are here, these buildings are here, these buildings are here, and this building is here. So to give you an idea, that's what was there, and that's what is gone. Next map. This is the area we were just looking at where the St. Paul's Cathedral was, and now the Union Trust building stands. It, at the time of the hump cut, it was empty. This is the Frick building. This is the Carnegie building. This is Kaufman's. But you'll see all the buildings here. I want you to get a real good idea. This is what was here. These are Sanborn fire maps. Excuse me. These are Sanborn fire maps. And they're very accurate. All right, so you got that. And this is what is gone there. Everything in green is gone now. Everything that's not green is still there today. And the blue is the hump cut area. That is what the hump cut was. The next map. All these buildings. Okay. This is the Allegheny Courthouse. This is the Allegheny Jail. This is the Allegheny Morgue, and it was moved. They moved it to this block down here. They moved it. Okay. So this is what's gone today. So everything is demolished today except the Allegheny Courthouse, the Allegheny Jail, and the morgue, which was moved one block to the south. The blue is the hump cut map. Next map. We're talking a ton of buildings. And my question is, they went in 1912 and 13 and cut the dirt down. They lowered the buildings, and then they demolished 97.5%. In this image, there is nothing left. That's what was there. This is what's left now. That's what was there. This is what's left. Nothing. Goose egg. Okay, here's the next one. Tons of buildings. Okay. Everything's gone. Every bit of it. Gone. Demolished. Gone. This is after the hump cut. This is after they dug out the streets. Okay. Now, give you the numbers so you can wrap your head around this. I counted 829 buildings that were demolished. 21 buildings remain in this area. 21. 97.5% is how much was removed in this area. And I'm continuing on with this and doing the map perimeter on the outskirts of the hump cut. And the findings are just as interesting. That'll be coming. I smell some hanky-panky. I don't know about y'all. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our hump cut pictures and carry on with our journey down the road that is the Pittsburgh hump cut. And we're going to start off with this one tonight. And this is in 1913, 2nd Avenue hump cut improvement progress at Triway, looking in the direction of Greeno Street. It's a weird name. Showing workers taking a break. The hump cut took place in the area of downtown known as Grants Hill. The project began in planning in 1909 and ended with the final cut in 1913. It changed the gradient of Grant Street, Diamond Street, and Oliver, 5th, 6th, Webster, and Wiley Avenues. Please see Frederick Law Olmsted, Pittsburgh Main Thoroughfares in the Downtown District for more information. And we will look at that book in the future. So, let you go ahead and get a gander at that one. That's how we start off here. Bum, 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 bum. Yep, Paul Cook is all about the geopolymer. That's his thing. We got Fred over here. Fred being the horse that built America. Got Boss Man over here. So he's up under some sort of bridge area. You can see the hump cut back in the background here. A lot of plumbing. They added a lot of plumbing in this time. All right. Moving on down the road. Let me get rid of this. Oh, I already got rid of it. Okay. And 1913, 2nd Avenue hump cut improvement progress at Brewery Street, looking in direction of Triway. All right. And give you a little gander at that. Gander for you city folks is a look. Good night, Miss Shannon. Thank you for joining us. Got a, looks like a cobblestone brick road there. Got to check it for miltage. Nope. No. It's just old ordinary brick road. Look at that, the bricks up in the hill here. That's interesting. Got some stonework up here. Fred. Lot sale. There was a building here. You can see the joist slots right there. Bees Pork Packers. All right. Look at all that dirt right there. See, this will be interesting to go and see what this looks like today. Okay. 1913, a view of Wiley Avenue at Tunnel Street looking toward Fifth Avenue, showing hump cut construction progress. A sign most likely for streetcar traffic suggests a travel speed. Okie dokie. Let's get a look at that. Cobblestone Brick Road. There's Pooper Scooper Man. Dangerous. Run slow. 12 mile an hour. So that's for the trolleys. There's old team of Freds. That's an interesting building right there. That stone one right there. Saw somebody was asking the other day about these, thinking they were stoplights. I'm like, no, they're not stoplights. They're arc lights. There's the trunking tower. Communications. There's another trunking tower. It's kind of rare to see two trunking towers close by. That's kind of different. Look at those awnings. Those are some good looking awnings right there. You know I love a good awning. Who doesn't love a good awning? Especially back then. Now they're all pretty and prim and proper. Back then they had character. Look at the character of that awning. I mean, it really sets the building off. Do. 1913, 6th Avenue at Ross Street, looking in the direction of Wiley Avenue, showing hump cut progress. The Chamberlain Company, Sanitarians, and the Truffles Bar and Cafe. Truffles are visible on the plank walkway over 6th Avenue. Aight. Let's get a look at that. There's the boss man. These old posters are pretty cool. Hermes ice cream. All ages love. These lights were bright, but they sure did have to be replaced a lot. They didn't last long. Look at all that debris. Arch windows. Diamond symbology. Well, we got a new camel on the farm this week. It's a girl, and she's the same age as the other one. And so Joe the camel's really happy. We're debating on what to call her. I voted Sandy, but I don't know if I'm going to get voted down on that one or not. There was a little controversy about the name, so I don't know. We'll see. I was provided a list of names to choose from, and I chose Sandy, and then I don't know. Well, we don't like Sandy. Why not? What's wrong with Sandy? Sandy's a great name for a camel. Anyway, she's a sweetheart. She's a pretty one. I didn't get a picture of her. She came in after dark, so I didn't get a picture of her. yet. 1913 Diamond Street and Maloney Way to Grant Street showing hump cut progress. The original street height is readily apparent. The foreground features a lowered street and streetcar tracks being put into place. Remnants of the original street height are visible just beyond the plank walkway near the Wagoneer Detective Agency. All right. Oh, let you get a gander at that one. There's Sig's streetcar lines. He likes those. They're huge. Did y'all have a good week this week? It's been a pretty week this week. Gonna be hot here this coming week. It's hot today. There's Fred. Look how they got Fred going up that hill. Boss man right there. I don't know what he's got in that suitcase. We saw him before with that suitcase. He must have the nuclear football in there. Yeah, this is a crazy image. You had a good week, Miss Teresa. That's good. I've been taking care of odd jobs this week. I'm waiting on parts. I had to go to the store get parts on. We did some of the store runs on Friday, and anyways, I've been working on little projects that I wanted to get done, and I'm going to redo the vegetable garden, the whole outer shell of it. I'm going to redo it this year, and so I'm trying to collect the parts and get that started. And I did some masonry work on it the other day, and that looks like pavement light right there. Don't know, but it sure does look like pavement light. And so that's going to turn out real good. Probably take some pictures of that to show you the before and after kind of thing and how it goes. When they did it, when they originally built it, it was a. I didn't build the vegetable garden. They got a this 1913 hump cut progress northwest corner of Wiley Avenue, 6th Avenue, looking west down Wiley Avenue. At the corner on 6th Avenue is a large billboard reading Turkish trophies, 10 cents for 10 with gift slip. And when they originally built it, they demolished a hoop house, and so they kind of, the guys that built it just kind of threw it up, and then it got added to, and then they kind of added to that, and it just, by the time I got there to deal with it, it was out of hand. And hold on, baby, I have to take a break here. And so it's had a lot of I've worked out a lot of it on the interior, but the exterior is got to be redone, and I'm going to do that this year. I've been wanting to do it. Hold on, baby. Let's look at one more picture, and then we'll go do a patrol. Does that sound good? Is that a deal? Sound like, listen to you. Grumble, Mr. Grumbles. Big old hound dog. Yeah. Look at that arch right there. And there's an arch coming out this way. Interesting. Hey, let us finish one picture, would you? Jeez Louise. That's the Allegheny Courthouse. That's still there today. And that's the Frick building there. Hush! I'll knock you out. And everything in this picture, besides the Frick building here in the Allegheny Courthouse, is now demolished. Just so you know. and they lowered these buildings. Is another thing. I've got pictures where they're in the air, and then pictures where they're on the ground. So you can see here they're doing the lowering here. But I know they lowered the ones down here too. But they lowered these buildings down to the new ground level, and then they demolished them. Now, what sense does that make? What am I missing? Because, you know, that dog don't hunt too good. Why do you go through so much trouble to save buildings just to demolish them? What is the logic behind that? Let me get it set up for the next one. Okay, all right, guys, we're gonna take a break and let the patrol dog do his thing. He's about to piss his fur, but we'll be right back. Go get you a drink or a smoke or whatever you like to partake in, and we'll be back ASAP. Hope y'all having a good time.
I swear I'll change, yeah, I swear I'll stay. Bitter water, promise, baby, drink it anyway. I swear it's love, I swear it's clean. Say it till it's empty, say it through your teeth. So I throw a vow like coins in a cup, just to stop the flood, just to stitch you up. I'm good at the line, I'm bad at the proof. Look, I can sound like truth. Love's a thirst with no bottom to it. I pull my chest, you still run through it. I give and give, it don't turn to peace. Nah, it only turns the key. I swear I'll change, yeah, I swear I'll stay. Bitter water, promise, baby, drink it anyway. I swear it's love, I swear it's clean. Say it till it's empty, say it through your teeth. Bitter water, promise, baby, drink it anyway. I swear it's love, I swear it's clean. Say it till it's empty, say it through your teeth. As
Okay, we're back in the saddle. Back in the saddle again. You know, it's interesting. I'm watching. You know, I like the show. I enjoyed the show, Yellowstone, and then I watched 1923, and I enjoyed that. Now I'm watching 1883. Now, this is the prequel to the Yellowstone, prequel to 1923. Okay, so, but it's interesting to me that, you know, they're traveling across in 1883 a wagon train across the American interior, and you know, they're facing all kinds of things like you know, the people don't speak English, that they're in this wagon train. They're being led by guides, and hey Odin, how you doing? And you know, the big problems are, you know, you got snakes, rattlesnakes, people drinking water that they shouldn't, people doing stupid stuff on the wagons. But you know, the thing that they fear the most, all of them, even the guides, the people, you know, the people, the regular people, everybody, the whole group, the thing they fear the most, and which I think is interesting, is rivers. They're terrified to cross a river. Now, we don't think about it today because we just go across a bridge, but back then they had to run a, you know, two horses with pulling a cart, you know, a wagon full of stuff across a river that you don't know how deep it is. You don't know, there's, you know, channels in the bottom. You don't know, like, the current, you know, there's all kinds of things. And here's my point to this. In 1883, supposedly we're building these grand architectural achievements, yet we can't even cross a damn river without shitting ourselves. So I'm just thinking, you know, our historical narrative just is a bunch of horseshit. It just doesn't make any sense to me anymore. It doesn't add up. I just don't believe it anymore. I think that it needs to be really, really thought about in a different way. Okay, anyways, that's my 2 cents. Okay, there we go. Okay, trying to get my doodadded. Okay, and okay, all right, okay, we're back at it. Okay, so we got 1913 hump cut progress on Webster Avenue in front of the John A. McCullough property home, to the office of Phileto Cantu, attorney at law, whoever, Joe's Turkle Belt. What the hell, attorney at law? What kind of names are these? Anyways, a bank, attorney, just say that, cafe, Italian cuisine. That's all you gotta say. Speak English. Oh wow, hoorah! That's nice. Yeah, wagon train between one mud-flooded city and another. It's like, I don't think it was like people rushing out west to find land. I think there was a rush because they knew there was buildings out there that were free to be occupied. I think it was a mad rush to get out there and get you a building. I think that's why people were traversing. Think about it. Why would people carry their ass across America, through Indian territory, that want to chop your head off, and with limited supplies, worse conditions on demand. Why would you want to do that just so you could get a little bit of land with nothing on it and farm it? Like come on, you want to go all the way across America, which is a long ways. I mean, it takes 4 days to drive across America. Okay, drive across America, and back then it took a lot longer. I mean, I don't think they were going for land. I don't think they were going because of the prospect of owning land. I think the prospect was to own a damn building. They were promised free buildings, or free, that you would be like, it's the land of milk and honey. If you can just get out there, it's just free for all out there. I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was. But that's an opinion. And opinions is like tailholes. So anyways, that being said, we'll go ahead and get into this one. Got big open spaces under the buildings here. Remember, this was all under dirt here. Beagle, would you go and play somewhere? Go find a toy, like one of 1,000 toys around here, and play. Look, I'll find a toy for you. Look, here, ball. Go play. Have fun. Beagles are easily entertained. They're easy to distract. Dun, 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 dun. Beer good. Napster bad. I don't know if y'all remember that. Beer good. I don't know. It cracked me up. Ha! Hoorah. They are doing some shady stuff right here, I can tell. No doubt. Tartarian lions, scrubbed cartouches. Zip it. That's interesting right there. I don't think I've ever seen that. That's a heck of a building right there. Oh, there's more cartouches up here. A lot of cartouches. Alright. And moving on up. Well, the apartment in the sky is coming along. Got the basic frame built and the roof on it. This is 1913 Hump cut progress at 6th Avenue, Garland Alley, in front of the Philadelphia Company, which resides in a building owned by the Consolidated Gas Company. The Philadelphia Company was organized in 1844 by inventor George Westinghouse after discovering a large reservoir of natural gas in his backyard on Thomas Boulevard in the North Point Breeze neighborhood of Pittsburgh. The Philadelphia Company expanded rapidly in the area, and it combined with a number of other companies to form the present-day Dunsqueek, what in the world, Light Company, whatever. I'm not a wordsmith. One of the largest power producers in the United States. Okay, so it's Power Company. Oh yeah, it's a Power Company. Just say Power Company. Woo, that's a pretty one. Oh my, that's pretty. I like it. He's a likey. Yeah, fighting off the Indians will making cartouches. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Cowboys and Indians, it's all crap. I think. Look at Fred, boy. He is hot to trot there. Look at those old Etherlights. What? Don't even start that. I know what you're up to. Well, quit losing your ball under there. It's not my fault. I ain't got time to dig it out for you. Go play with another toy. He has this ball, and he somehow miraculously gets it under the thing here, and I gotta go digging. I gotta go getting on the floor and digging it out. Piss off. All right, sorry, folks. He loves his toys. He just wants me to play with him. I ain't been able to play with him all day. I've been busy all day. Arc light, Phoenician wave, or Greek key, as it's technically called. I don't like that name, but whatever. I don't get the name, make up the names. Arc light. Interesting cartouche there. Got a unscrubbed cartouche with a P and a C, maybe, and an O. I think what they do is they see these cartouches and they just make names up based off what they see on that cartouche. I think that's original. Philadelphia Company. Okay. So we got a P and then a C and an O. So, you know, it's not a hard stretch. Phoenician shell. Little eagles representing the phoenix. Funeral director. All right. That's pretty cool. And this is 1913, a view of the workers along the north side of Lemon Alley, looking east from Cherry Way, showing hump cut progress. Okay. Hump cut. What's hump cut? Well, you just had a hell of a time with that ball, ain't you? The Phoenix arsonists love their ashes. Yeah. Yeah. Stick figures. Yeah. Anyways. So what we got here? We got stone foundation. And the hump cut looks like it was up this area here. You can see the dirt marks. Pretty dirty down here too, so it looks like this area was covered up. Can't read that sign. Arc light. I don't know what they're digging out there. Two little areas are digging out there. Phone pole looks like it's about to fall over. All right. The beagle's making weird noises over here. Since 1913, view of the hump cut progress along McGee and DeLucia property on Webster Avenue. Also visible are the hotel and the storefronts of Banco DeLucia and Company and the Liberia Economica. What the hell? Weird names. Also a weird picture. Or I've seen shots of this before. I don't think it was at this angle, but Just wild. They're bracing that facade up there. Zip it, honey. I know you ain't had much daddy time tonight, but you're going to just have to take a big old cup of shut up. We'll deal with you accordingly. Interesting what that, whatever that is up there. That's a weird little doodad there. See these windows a lot. The two arches with the inside the one big arch with the circle. And a lot of times these circles are actually wind catcher windows, and they open up. They're portholes. Not in that case, but in a lot of cases they are. Horse field. See, there was something here. This is the new ground level, and you can see how high the dirt was here. It's pretty damn high. Oh, nope. 1913, a view of Diamond Street looking east from Grant Street, showing progress on the Hump cut. Visible on the left is the courthouse, and in the background is the Pittsburgh Academy building, forerunner of the University of Pittsburgh, which was at this location from 1855 to 1882. All righty. So there you got the Allegheny Courthouse on the left-hand side. Arc light. I like these symbols in here right here. Up on that area. There's not a lot of good shots of that. All right. (1913) a view of Hump cut progress along Scrip Alley looking north to Lemon Alley. Okay. Look at that. You see they dug the dirt out. There's the dirt level right there. Dug all that dirt out. Where did all these bricks go? I mean, they demolished these buildings, so what happened to the bricks? Because that's a lot of bricks that were demolished. It's very, very odd. (1913) view along the east side of Chatham Street looking north to Wiley Avenue, showing progress of Hump cut. Visible in the background is 801 Wiley Avenue. The office of Dr. U. O'Perry, okay, is on the right. Okay, I need to know that. It's not there anymore, but sure. Let's get a look at that. Get your Mudflood winner there. Anytime you see this, that's where they're going to lower the buildings down. It doesn't mean they're not going to do these. It just means that they haven't done that yet. Or they might not have lowered them. Either way, they demolished most of them. 97.5% from my calculations. 97.5. 800, was it 820 something buildings, something like that. We went over this at the beginning of the show. There's a coin with a Q. We went over this at the beginning of the show, what they demolished and what is left. And it is incredible. Mudflood Winder. Why would you go through this much trouble to remove the dirt? Now, this is the third time they did this now. This isn't the only operation. They did this 3 times. Okay? This was just the biggest of the operations. That's all. Not that the other 2 operations weren't, big operations. We don't have any records of them other than they say they did them. But they did this. They came in and they dug out these streets, and then they lowered the buildings, and then they demolished 97.5%. Like 820 something buildings. That's a lot of building. And that's not all, y'all. I'm not done. I'm still I'm working on the perimeter of the area next. And I want to show what was demolished on the outskirts of the hump cut, because there's more, y'all. There's a lot more. We ain't done yet. Okay, 1913, a view of hump cut progress along Diamond Street looking from the corner of Grant Street. I mean, they really, really destroyed this area. That's a weird thing right there. I don't know what that is. That's very strange. I don't have any idea what that is. That might be plumbing. I don't know. Paul Cook, what is that? I don't know. Shit, zip it, Skippy. Ether antenna with a mercury ball. Zip it. That looks like it could be pavement light right there. Got a Mudflood drop in right there. A couple of threads over here hanging out. Buttermilk. Look at that. Look at that. That's really pretty interesting. That arch on that window, that's something I haven't seen before. It's pretty cool. Big arch. All right. (1913) a view of hump cut progress along Lemon Alley looking west from the corner of Cherry Way. Let's get a look at that. Haha, have you seen that gold Trump statue? What the hell is that? Like, seriously. Hush, zip it. You're awful squealy tonight. Well, you mad at me because I ain't played with you today? I was busy. Let me on. That's their antennas. They're not flagpoles, y'all. Arc light. Look how tall that door is. Really? Anyways, with the talking about the 1913. Oh, I did my thing. View a hump cut progress along Cherry Way, looking north from the corner of Lemon Alley. Okay. So we're on the apartment in the sky that we're building is got the outer exoskeleton of steel done and the roof on it. Didn't get the ridge cap on it. I didn't get that till Friday. Had to go to the store to get it and got that. And so the ridge cap's got to get on it, and it's got to get caulked, and all the screws have to be caulked, and so that'll finish off the roof, except for the gutter. But we're not doing that. We got a gutter dude, and then they're coming in. They might have come in this weekend, and they're going to start framing in the floor, and so the floor will go in first, and once they get the floor done, I guess they'll start doing the steel studs for the walls. And I still don't think we know the layout of the. It went from 2 bedrooms to 1 big bedroom. I don't know. This thing keeps changing. Beagle, if you don't quit messing with me, I'm gonna just take you outside and whoop you ass. You and me gonna go rounds. One of us is gonna come back. I'll give you a clue which one. Quit licking my feet, you weirdo. What kind of fella licks another fella's feet? It's weird, man. Don't look at me. I'm not the one that did licking the feet. Weirdo. Weirdo. Cuckoo. Cuckoo. Where'd you come from? Coming up here attacking people. Go slow your roll. You just want to be part of the show. That's what it is. You want to be up here and say hello to everybody. No. Look at that detail right there. Oh, better watch that tongue. That tongue is a dangerous weapon. Definitely. You better watch it. Arc light. Ugh. Dog nose. Yuck. It's their antenna. Arc light. Fred on the move. You just got to have some daddy attention, don't you? I'm going to just put you in my belly and eat you. Make me some beagle shish kebabs. I love beagle shish kebabs. I love beagle shish kebabs. Huh? Who don't love beagle shish kebabs? All right. Hey, there you go, Sig. Look. That's funny. All right. Got 1913 view Hunt Cut progress along Script Alley, looking north from 4th Avenue. Alrighty. Got some Mudflood winners for you. All of these spiral staircases. We've got one of these down at the farm. It's only like a 2-story one. It's only about like here to here or something like that. And I'm trying to figure out where to put it. It's kind of a weird thing. It's got requirements. It's got to be in a certain type of area. We're going to try to put it on the apartment. I've got an idea to put it on the apartment, but I don't know if it's doable. I gotta do some engineering on that one. But I don't know. It's kind of cool. We get weird stuff from the demolitions. 1913 view of Hump cut progress along the south side of Lemon Alley, looking east from Cherry Way. The waterproofing company and the Myers Construction Company office buildings are visible. Oh boy. Okay. Let's get a gander at that. Sure wish I could download these in high res. Maybe one day they'll change it. I'll keep an eye on it. Never know, but so far they have not released them. You see the dirt line right there. I don't know, I find this fascinating. I also find it fascinating that I've never heard about this. I mean, for somebody that looks for stuff like this, after all these years, I can't believe that I had not run across this. I can't believe nobody else ran across. I found it. Okay, I found it, but I can't believe nobody else didn't find it. I can't believe I found it, and I can't believe nobody else didn't find the damn thing. Because, I mean, how did we miss this? I don't know. There's not much information on it. That's for sure. Oh wait, I didn't read my doodad. I got to read my doodad. 1912 Hunt removal on Grant Street from 5th Avenue to 6th Avenue, showing the severity of the cut and its impact on the surrounding neighborhood and businesses. And PJ Benham Cafe. All right. Sorry about that. I like to read my little doodad because you never know what you're going to learn. Could be important. You like that, Sig? Look at all that dirt. There's the steam engine thing that they use with the jackhammers. Oh look, here he comes. What? I think you going crazy. I do. I'm about sure. Hush. There's one of those signs telling the people what was going on. I've got better shots that where it can be read. Hey, hush. Go take a nap or something. We'll play after the show. Now's work time. You always want to party. This ain't party time. This is work time. There's no difference. You need to tighten up, son. Tighten right the fuck up. 1912, Webster Avenue at 6th Avenue looking to 7th Avenue during the Hump cut. Right. Wow. Nope. No neon signs. No neon signs. You got areaways, but no neon signs. Get rich quick. Lyceum Theater was a popular name for theaters. There's old Fred. Still hadn't seen a donkey. Socialism. Workers' hope, something socialism. Read the Pittsburgh Socialist. Yeah, I'm going to take a hard pass on that. Thank you, though. Officer 666. Well, that's weird. Buttercrust bread. So there's a building here. You got the joist inserts right there. I guess that's a bell. Look how deep that dirt is. Look how deep it is there. See right here, they've plastered over the foundation. Okay. Okie dokie. And we got 1913, a view of 6th Avenue at Ross Street looking toward 5th Avenue and showing part of the Bluff and Quince, whatever university, after the hump cut. Right after the hump cut. So this is what it looked like after they were done. Look how dirty the building is from the smog of the steel mills in Pittsburgh. Absolutely filthy. I can't imagine living in that time. Danger runs slow, 12 miles per hour. Coal. Cobblestone brick roads. Roundup. The Roundup. Okay. You got people moving too fast right here. You got ghost images. (1913) west side of Grant Street showing hump cut progress and surrounding businesses, including the Courthouse Quick Lunch. Okay. Let's get a look at that. And they went in and they cut the center of the streets out and left the sidewalk, and then they came back and they took this out, and that's when they lowered the buildings and things like that. I don't exactly know the reasoning behind that. I could think of several reasons why that would be, the way to do it, but that's how they did it. So, tis what it is. Spiral staircase. Arc light. It might be the Frick building, but I'm not sure. I'm not positive. Title: The Berger Building. 1913 Hump cut Progress Grant Street in front of the Berger Building, the corner of 4th Avenue. The Berger Building houses the Potter Tile and Trust Company. The courthouse quick lunch can be seen at number 407. Let's get a look at that. Mudflood wind there. So it's open right there. See the opening into the basement right there. There's Fred. Courthouse quick lunch. It's nice brickwork. I wonder what level of mason it would take to do finer brickwork like this. How much more training would they need than a regular, just a everyday, Mexican level worker bricklayer? 1913 Hump cut Progress at the intersection of 6th Avenue and Grant Street, showing the northeast corner. Eaton Company, Undertakers, and Truffles Cafe are visible just above the supports. All right, let's get a look at that. Makes you wonder where all the people are in West Virginia. I think that a lot of people moved out of this area. Could be one answer. I've also wondered if this area, check out that eagle right there. I've also wondered if maybe this area was not open and they kind of made it look like it was open, for the pictures, and kind of, I don't know. There's so much weirdness about this thing. Like, why would you build the buildings on this hill knowing it's a problem, and then you spend three different times you go in and try to fix the problem, and then once you finally fix the problem, you demolish it all? Like, what is the, like, make that make sense to me? 1913, a view of 5th Avenue from Grant Street to Ross Street, showing the new and old grades from the Hump removal project. The building on the left is the Allegheny Courthouse and the jail. Okay. So here's one of our line pictures. The original street surface was up to here. These pictures are pretty cool. You see the guy's got his measuring stick. so he knows how high to, where that mark's going to go. There's those cool symbols in the stonework. Thought maybe could read it, but I couldn't. (1913) view of Wiley Avenue from 5th Avenue to 6th Avenue, showing the new and old grades from the Hump removal project. And you see this is a glass plate negative. See, this glass plate broke. That's why you see that cracked area right there. You just see it's a cracked glass. So it was just, part of it was destroyed. These are the real deal. They're not AI. This is the real deal stuff. Boss man right there. So he's got the tape measure out. So that's the original level right there. Holding that facade up. Tartarian Lions Buffalo Restaurant with a Tartarian lion on it. Make that make sense. Some of the buildings were demolished during the project, as you can see. Here's one here and here's one here. And it looks like another one here. The facade fell off. And I think they went ahead and demolished those buildings. Here's another one. And there's probably another one right here. I think a lot of times as they were trying to save the buildings, failed, and they just took them down. I think they knew they were going to take all these buildings down. It just doesn't make sense to me that they didn't know that. I can't imagine that they didn't know. I think it was just this operation to make it look like. I don't know why they did it this way. I really don't. I'm talking out the back end of my tail because I really don't know. It's so crazy. Like, I can't even say, like, how do you justify crazy? How do you figure crazy thought out? I don't know. You have to be crazy to figure it out. I guess that's what my problem is. 1913, a view of the street improvements on the Triway and Greenogue Street during the Hump removal project, looking towards 2nd Avenue. Pennsylvania Railroad steam locomotive 1477 rests on the tracks above the Allegheny Courthouse and jail. It can be seen in the distance. Okay. All right. There's a train for Frankie. Frankie likes the trains. There's the courthouse. Another thing I think that hasn't been really talked about enough and thought about enough is that when in a lot of areas in America, where they say there's these buildings that were built in 1 or 2 years, these humongous buildings. Something that they don't ever account for is the fact that you can't work several months out of the year because of the cold. Because it's too cold, it's too snowy, it's too icy. Like you can't work. So, you know, I don't think that we take that into account enough um, in these figures. 1913, a view of construction during the hump removal project on Oliver Avenue, looking from Grant Street to Smithfield Street. Aye. Fred back there doing what Fred does. These doors up here, so the street level was up here before the hump cut. And you get these little kids hanging out the door here that could fall right down. Oh, they got them a ladder though. They'll be able to get down, no worries. Hakuna Matata. Here I thought they were going to break your neck falling out the door, but they got it all worked out. Like, you going to work through a Chicago winter to build a big ass building? What about Minnesota? You know, Minneapolis? What about Milwaukee? Like, you're going to work in like that condition? Like, I mean, I just don't. I don't think we, you know, talk about that enough. Um, like they say, oh yeah, they built that in a year, but no, no, they built it in less than that because they didn't work some of that year or two, you know, because of the weather. 1913, a view of Clay Alley during the road construction between Chatham Street and Washington Street in the Hump District. Construction materials, specifically bricks, line the street. All right, so it's like that. Okay. Hello, Jason Marshall. No, they did not. They did not raise and lower the buildings. They how do I explain this? They lowered the buildings, but to lower the buildings, they have to raise the buildings up on the screw jacks first. It's a raising lowering. Um, it's a process that has to do with cribbing and our I beams and screw jacks, and so they lowered the buildings is the answer. Um, so anytime you see the cribbing, which you might see some here, I think there's some right here. Yeah, they're lowering that building. But that doesn't mean that if you don't see the cribbing that they weren't going to lower the buildings. I don't think they could, you know, lower all the buildings at the same time, you know, because there's probably only so many people that are doing it. And they have a lot of buildings they're working on at a time. So I imagine there's a whole lot of stuff going on. There's a trunking tower. If I see there's a screw jack right there. Those are screw jacks. They're right there. Kind of hard to see. Not really. Can't really tell like what's going on there, but that's what they are. Open the picture. 1913, a view of Wiley Avenue between Tunnel Street and 6th Avenue in the Hump District. Businesses on the street include McLaughl's Bar and W&B Cohen's clothing store. 2 street signs are visible. The first reads danger, run slow 12 miles per hour, and the second sign warns offenders arrested for spitting upon sidewalks and throwing paper or rubbish on highways. Okay, that's kind of odd. Offenders arrested for spitting upon sidewalks and throwing paper or rubbish upon highways. I think that's pretty good policy. I cannot stand when people throw their trash on the ground in any way, shape, or form. Like, put it in the fucking trash can. And we already have enough problems with our waste, our trash in this world. And then you want to throw it on the ground, or you want to throw it out the window of your car and expect somebody else to pick that up. And this is a pet peeve of mine. I will not pick up other people's trash. When they throw it, when they've made a mess, I refuse to pick. I say all the time, I'm not the maid. I'm not the maid. Pick up your own damn trash. Because a lot of these people I work with, they hush, they will throw their water bottles down or whatever, and they expect. I don't know who they expect to clean it up, but it ain't gonna be me. I'm not the fucking maid. But here's the thing: the day that people decide to clean the world up and pick up all the trash and do it in unison and clean this world up, I'll be in there picking up trash with everybody, elbow to elbow with them. But until then, I'm not going to pick up your trash, because if I pick it up, you just keep doing it, and then I keep picking up your fucking trash. Pick up your fucking trash, young. You put it out. Like, if you ain't got the sense to put something in the damn trash can, I mean, I just I got no time for it. Just put it in the trash. How hard is it? I mean, how lazy? Like, who do you think picks that up? That goes into our rivers, our streams. It makes our environment look bad. I mean, it's horrible. It's just I can't. It's a pet peeve of mine. I just don't. I don't do that. I don't like that. I don't know. All right, I'm done, bitch. Just putting it out there. Arc light, trunking tower. There's another trunking tower. 1913, a view of road construction on Diamond Street from Ross Street to Grant Boulevard in the Hump District. The building on the right is the Allegheny Courthouse and Jail. Okay. Yeah, those some straight ass power poles, ain't they? Yep. Yep, I hear you, Floppy. Hmm. It's weird how they dug that out to put that piece of sewer right there. Those bricks right there coming off the building. Mudflood windows. Sure wish we had more pictures of after they took the dirt off of here, but I guess they probably knew that that was a bad idea. I have no doubt they knew exactly what they were doing when they did this. Like, they knew what they were doing, why they were doing it, what they like, the whole plan. That I think they had this all worked out in some way, shape, or form. I don't think I don't think they undertook this without knowing what the ultimate goal was and what they were actually uncovering. I think they knew exactly what they were doing. Like, why do we not have more pictures of this area uncovered? I mean, it seems like that's something that they could have done. (1913) View of Ross Street from Diamond Street to Fifth Avenue, the Hump District. The shot captures the bridge of size connecting the Allegheny Courthouse and the Allegheny County Jail. The bridge was once used to transport prisoners from the courthouse to the jail and is modeled after a bridge in Venice, Italy, with the same name. All right. And all the lighter stone, you can see here that the dirt was up to there. Look at the soot on those buildings, just basically black. They've cleaned them up now today when you look at them. These buildings are gone now. Same here. All this was underground here. There's the old street level right there. There's Fred back there. Still haven't seen that donkey. Looking that donkey. I don't know. I've been told. I don't know. 1913 view of Grant Street at Strawberry Way, looking to 6th Avenue, showing Hump District Street grading process. Okay. Or progress. I don't know. Anyways, you get the gist. Yes, Jason Marshall. I absolutely think these are the just the creme de la creme that's come out in a long time. That's why I'm spending so much time on them, so we can document them properly. It's I think it's worth it. I mean, this is what we're here for. I mean, it's either this or we could look through the Sears and Roebuck catalog like John Levy. I mean, if y'all want to do that, we could do that. But I this is kind of how I'd rather spend my time. But I mean, if y'all want to look at Sears and Roebuck catalog, we can do that. I mean, that's how you get the big audience. I mean, maybe that's what we should do is just look at the Sears and Roebuck catalog. I don't know. I thought we were trying to figure out this thing called the Mudflood. I thought that was the goal, and trying to uncover as much evidence as we could to prove our point, so that when everybody thinks we're crazy, but when they actually take the time to look at this, that we'll have documentation. And like I said, that at some point it's going to be a while. There's going to be a very large channel that's going to take a look at this. So that's down the road. It's going to be a while. Just when it happens, you'll know. You'll be the first to know. But I don't want to. I want it to be a surprise. because it'll be a good one. 1913, a view of Chatham Street between Webster Avenue and Wiley Avenue in the Hump District. Workers, horses, and wagons occupy the street. The building on the left is occupied by Dr. F. Suniseri. Okay, I don't really care. Oh, wow. So there's your cribbing right there. So they're going to lower these buildings down. But here, they did the thing where they stuccoed over the foundation. So they're not going to lower that building down. And there they had bracing, and they patched up that brickwork. And there's the screw jacks. You get a good look at the screw jacks right there. That's how they lowered the buildings. They put these iron I-beams underneath to hold the frame up, and then they put another beam. Today they would put another iron beam here, but here they're using a wood beam, and then they would use this cribbing to bring it down. I don't really. I need to find a good video that explains this, because it is a little bit complicated if you've never seen it, and I'm not going to be able to explain it very well. I've seen it done. I've seen them raise them. I've seen them lower them. But explaining that in common terms, I'm not the one that can do that. I'll have to find the video. So that's on my to-do list. And 1913, a view of Diamond Street between Forbes and Ross in the Hump District. The view includes Allegheny Courthouse Morgue on the left, Pittsburgh Academy in the background, and the Allegheny Courthouse and jail on the right. So this is the morgue. Now this building they moved one block south. So it's still there today, but they moved it. But this is prior to them moving it. Now, can you imagine moving this building? I mean, that is a very strange thing to me. I find I mean, if I didn't have photographic evidence of it, I would be questioning it, but I don't know. The evidence shows that it was in that spot, and then moved, but it's just really hard to understand. And the narrative about how they do it, I think I've gone over that. We'll probably go over it again, but it's just like, what, really? Come on! Like it just sounds like a bunch of horse shit. 1913, a view of Dante Alley during construction from 6th Avenue to Tunnel Street in the Hump District. The fire escapes of the building on the right are spiral staircases. All right. So I'm making some calculations there. We got the architect's name on the side of the building. That's weird. That's really interesting. Look at all that. Very interesting. Mark White. Coin with a Q. There's the spiral staircase. (1913) A view of men working on Diamond Street from Ross Street to Gala Avenue Alley in the Hump District. There you go. Local winner there. Local winners there. All right. (1913) A view of improvements made to 2nd Avenue during the hump removal project, looking from Gas Street. I hadn't heard of that one. To Tri-Way. I need to find out what Tri-Way is to the hump. Okay. Pittsburgh has some very strange street names. Yeah, Fred did get around. I've never seen a brick building move, Miss Virginia, but I have seen large old houses moved before. I can't imagine moving like a brick building. How that just blows my mind. They can do that. I know they can though. I mean, it's clear they can. Got the joist inserts, so there was a building here. There they are again. There's Fred. There's Fred again. Just doing what Fred does. Laying the cobblestones. (1913) A view of improvements made to 2nd Avenue during the hump removal project. Right. There's some phone poles for you, haha. I bet OSHA would just not be happy about this. Men wanted. Raleigh. I'm wondering if that's a vernacular. Pittsburgh had a lot of vernaculars at one time. I'm wondering if that's what that is. Very possible. I think they only have 2 left now, maybe 3. Okay. 1913, a view of improvements made to 2nd Avenue during the Hump removal project, looking from Gas Street to Ross Street. Alrighty. It's an antenna of mercury ball. We were just looking at this area a second ago. They took different angles and they took pictures from different directions too, so that's it is helpful because you can get more details when you're looking at things. Alrighty. I think that's about it for the pictures this week. Uh, it, does anybody have any questions about the Pittsburgh hump cut or anything I can look into for you in the pertaining to this Pittsburgh hump cut? Is there anything that's you're scratching your head about or you don't understand? Did you understand the uh, Sanborn fire maps that I shared at the beginning of the show, where I have shown what was demolished and what is still left? Did you understand that? Did that make sense to you all? Um, I'd like a little feedback on that because I'm continuing to do that. Um, on the I'm basically I did the area that everywhere the hump cut was done. I did that, and then now I'm going on the perimeter of the hump cut. So and checking that because I had a feeling that they did more demolishing than just in that area, and I was right. Um, and so that's going to take a little bit more effort, and it's really interesting to me. Hey GT, how you doing? Okay. Well, give me a second here, and I will try to answer that somewhat, GT. Um, let's see. Let me get my okay, and let me share screen. We'll look at it again. I want you guys to understand this. This is, I'm not trying to shove it down your throats. I want you to really understand this. Okay, so taking each section of the map, okay, this is what's left on this one. Now, if you go in, what's left, you got the First English Evangelical Lutheran Church at the corner of Strawberry Alley and Garland Avenue in Grant. It probably has a Grant address, seeing as how that's the more prominent street. And then right behind that, there's these buildings. I don't know if these buildings are today the same buildings. This one's called the Philadelphia Company Building. This one was called the Public Safety Building. This was the city jail. These were um, smaller shops. Over here, I would not expect. Now, one thing I have noticed is these numbers, these are the building numbers. Okay, these are the addresses. 628. Okay, so it's be 628 Smithfield. These are either accurate today or they're not accurate today. But meaning that, you know how addresses change as they add and subtract buildings and stuff like that. So some of these addresses are still there today, but you can go to these locations and you can still see these buildings. Bell Telephone Building is still there. G.O.A. Kelly Company Whole Drugs Building. But you know that if you watch this and you see the um, and if you want to shoot me an email and if you would like me to send these to you, I'll try to send these to you. Um, they're large files. These are TIFF files. They're very large images. They are very detailed. They are. This is like creme de la creme stuff. Okay, so in this one you got the Kaufmans. Now this is an interesting one. You got the Kaufman Brothers building, the Kaufman's department store. Okay, now what I did learn is that this building has always been there, but they redid the facade. So they completely refacaded this building. So what it looked like in the time that the hump cut was done and at the time of this map being made, the building looked different than it does today. Now, when you look at it today, it still looks old world, which is interesting, but it's different. Um, this one here um, on this map was this map was done, I believe, in 1905, going from memory, and this building was built in 1906. So I went ahead and labeled this here, even though there was nothing in this block, but that is still there today. Actually, I don't remember if it's still there. I'm not sure, but you could check this Allegheny building. I think it's still there. I think this one's still there. Okay, and then you got this is the Frick building, and you can see the right here is the Allegheny Courthouse. So you just look for the Allegheny Courthouse, and then you'll find the Frick building right here, and you can clearly see that. Here you have, this one's real easy. You got the Allegheny Courthouse, you got the Allegheny County Jail, and then you got the Allegheny County Morgue, which was moved to this block right here. And if you look for a large building right here, they literally just drug it back. And you can see, we showed some pictures of that building tonight, and it's got a big arch on the front as the door, and it is still there today. So that is still there. I don't. This isn't. That's gone, but it's a temporary shed. All of this is gone, and I think all of this is gone. And like I said, the hump cut, these let's see, 20, 22, 25, 26, 33, and 49 are the hump cut area. Okay. Now, what I'm doing now is I'm doing 21, 24, 30, 31, 32, 79, 69, 70, I think 80, 71, 50, 34, 7, and I think 6. I'm concentrating on these outer perimeter blocks next to see what is still there. Because with these Sanborn fire maps, you can really get some information out of that. So let me see if there's any more questions here. I think I rambled on long enough on that one. I hope that answered your question, GT. I know this is complicated. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. If there's a way I can make it easier, um, you know, let me know. It is complicated. Yeah, Amish can move that in 45 minutes. Yeah. If you've never seen the Amish move a building, search Amish barn moving, Amish relocate barn or Amish moving barn. That is a trip. I tried to make a video one time of them doing that, and they copy striked me. Oh well. Pinocchio stuff. That's funny. Da, da. I lost. Where is? Okay. Uh, what was? I was asking, what Masonic order do they have in that area? Are they the clowns? You talking about the Shriners? Well, I think the Shriner, to be a Shriner, you have to be a Mason. Like you have to be like I think you have to be a 33, 32, whatever it is. Um, okay, so that did help. Okay, good. Okay. All right. Any more questions? Anyone? Yeah. Okay. How do I explain this, Teresa? Miss Teresa. Okay. So, um, what they would do is before they dig the dirt out, um, they would go to the side of the building and they would um, basically chisel out sections of the side of the building. And they would do that on all sides every so often. And then what they would do is they would slide a I-beam through that hole underneath the joist and underneath the idea is to hit the joist in the middle, but then hit the perimeter walls on either side. And once they have that, then they can um, then they've got to put in a beam going the opposite direction, and they lift that beam. Okay, so you put I beams in through one side, and then you put another beam going this way, and this beam lifts that. It's complicated. And it's a combination between the I beams going one way, the I beams going another way, the jack screws, and the cribbing. And then they dig it out, and then it's. I need to find a video. It if you see it, it makes sense. Me explaining it is kind of not going to be a very good way to learn it. I mean, you could look it up yourself. You just look up house lifting or house lowering, and there's lots of videos on YouTube, lots of them, because it's like they still do it a lot today. It's very popular. So, were there any benevolent motives in the hump cut? I don't. That's kind of tricky. I don't think they were trying to be. It's like they knew they had a problem, and they knew the solution, but they couldn't explain it to the people. They couldn't tell the people what the problem was. The real problem. The real problem being it was, mud flooded. But any idiot would know that trying to take a horse and cart up those steep inclines from one end to the other was 60 feet. That's a huge incline. And but then it's like, if you look at what they started with and then what they ended up with in the end. Okay, you start off with 800. It was 820. Let me get the exact number. 829 buildings demolished. Okay, so let me get an exact figure. 829 plus what? 21. Okay, you start off with 850 buildings. Okay, and you save 21 of them in the end, not during the hump cut. I'm talking about in the end, the end result. Okay, today, and I'm not just talking about just today. I'm talking about this has been a while. Matter of fact, that's going to be part of this research, is figuring out when did they demolish these buildings, because that's something we can determine too. We can look at what is there today and find out when those buildings were built, and obviously the buildings were demolished before then. And I think that number is going to be very telling too. And so, they went through a lot of effort to lower this area. I think that they wanted to turn this into a commercial space. If you look at what's there today, let me hold on. Let me just show you. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Good things come to those that wait. Okay. Let me share it with you, and then okay. So this is Pittsburgh. Okay, we're going to drop down in here, and when you're dropping down in here, what you're going to look for is this right here, this red square. That's the Allegheny Courthouse. That's the Allegheny Jail. That's the Frick Building. Okay, they're still there today. They were there in the hump cut. They're still there today. Now, the morgue that we're talking about is right here. It was right here. Okay, this is the morgue. Okay, you drop down here. Bada bing, bada boom. That's the morgue. Okay. Supposedly they moved that one block. Okay. I don't know. Did they? I don't know. That's a whole nother issue. But my point is that if you look at what's there today, this area, okay, look at all the big ass commercial buildings that are there today in this area. This is the hump cut area. And look at the commercial real estate that is there today. I think they wanted to build some big ass buildings, because you know how they like to build these big ass, ugly, brutalist buildings. I think they wanted to do that exactly. And they, in order to appease the public, they went through this process. And then you get down there today, if you can try, if you will let me. Okay. Get down there today and look how flat it is. This is the hump cut. This is where this happened at. Originally, the dirt was up here. It was 60 feet on this end, and it went down to down here. Like this was the bottom down this area, and it was 60 feet up here. But look at it today. This is the hump cut. This is no, not this one. This is the that might be, no, that's not it. I think this is the Union. Yeah, this is the Union Trust building. This is where the St. Paul's Chapel was, right here. Now I'm questioning this narrative. Like, this thing looks, old to, it's got that old thing going. And then you got this the Frick building here, and you can still see today that plaque right there talks about the hump cut. That's the original hump cut level right there. That plaque, that's what that plaque says. You can't read it in here. It just doesn't read from Google, but I'm telling you, that's what that plaque is. You can look this up, hump cut, Pittsburgh hump cut plaque, or Frick building or something like that, and you'll find that. But this is the hump cut. This is where the hump cut was. This is where they did this. This is these pictures that we're looking at. This is what it looks like today. All those, old buildings, they were right here. They're gone. And they're gone to build this shit. And I think they're gone on purpose. I think the whole thing was, number one, to get rid of the mud flood, to get rid of the evidence, and to make it level somewhat. It's still got a bit of a downward thing. That's okay. That's not the big deal. But I mean, this is a newer building here. This was all building. This was all these little buildings here. Okay. And this was it. You can see this building in the back of the picture. So this was here during the hump cut. This is one of the ones that survived right here. This is the Pennsylvania Railroad. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I think the point was to build these big ass buildings. That's what I think. I think they knew exactly what they were doing. Yeah, the whole narrative is sketchy as fuck. It really is. It's the dog just don't hunt on this one. It just don't. It's so far fetched. It's this is good stuff, y'all. This is really good stuff, and I know it might be getting a little bit tiresome. I realize that we're getting close to getting through the pictures, and once we get through the pictures, then we'll probably take a step back and do some other things for a little while, and let me build up a little bit of some data, and then we can go back and do some more. But we need to get through this. It won't be too much longer. We're really making good progress. And once we get through looking at every picture, then we will we'll take a step back, because I know y'all might be getting a little bit tired of the Pittsburgh hump cut, and not trying to shove it down your throats, but I do want to get through this. I think it's worth it. I feel it's worth it. It's important. In my opinion, it's important. It's much better than looking at the Sears and Roebuck catalog. Unless y'all want to do that. I mean, We could. I mean, if you want, I don't know. I don't know. The great John Levy and his, he's working on the looking at the Sears and Roebuck catalog, toilet paper of record. Does anyone have a good big toe theory of everything, how history happened past couple hundred years, like something without too many holes or holes that could be placed? I haven't heard one. I mean, the best I got personally is that they, and you got to understand where I come from. I believe that we live in a simulation, not a computer simulation. We're in a simulation being simulated from the mind of God. Okay. That's layman's terms. Okay. But I believe that this simulation can be manipulated. And I believe that it's possible that the elite manipulated the timeline and manipulated the matrix, and that to me would explain why nobody remembers this, that there's no records of this happening, that I think there was some hanky panky. Okay, imagine, I mean, it's it could be this simple. Imagine, the Men in Black movie where they have the thing and they hold it up and they say, look in there, and they hit the thing and it flashes and their memory is wiped. And then they give them a new story of, what if it's that simple? Could be something that simple. Why could it not be that simple? Our minds are they can hack our minds. So what makes us think that they haven't done that in the past? Um, I don't know. Here's the thing. The best I can say is that in my research, everything was. I kept running up against this problem of 19 of. It started off with the Art Deco buildings, and the Art Deco buildings were really giving me a problem because they were done in the 20s and 30s, and I kept noticing that there's this these Art Deco buildings in a lot of cases, not all of them, but a lot of them really they're really quite interesting. And there was also like these amazing buildings that were built up until 1943, and then in 1943 it stopped. It just, and if you look at architecture and you look at the dates on these buildings, you're going to find that 1943 is the cutoff. And I have this theory that in 1943 that they changed something, and it there's also, I call them anomaly buildings, where you'll have two incredible structures on the same property, on the same piece of land, and they're both documented. And I call them anomaly buildings. An anomaly building would, like the example of tonight's show, we were talking about the second St. Paul's Chapel and the Union Arcade building. Both of those buildings are incredible. They were both on the same piece of property. I call those anomaly buildings. I think there's something strange about that building, about both of those buildings, about that property. But I've seen this many times. Many times. I've seen I've seen all kinds of things. I've seen multiple incredible buildings on the same property. I've seen there's one in my Raleigh research where it's the first building I've got a picture of is a A-frame wood A-frame building, and then on the same property I have documentation of a stone, brick and stone, old world massive structure on the same property. I've photographic evidence of both. But it's also quite possible that that photograph of the A-frame building is a fake, that they photoshopped it, because they could Photoshop. So I don't know. All right. So Floppy Choppers has a bunch of cool videos of manipulation. Okay. That's on your channel, Floppy? I think names and locations have been manipulated too. Yep. I think it goes deep. I think they changed so much. You can't. Here's the thing. You can't. I don't think that you can get from A to B in this thinking by going the standard route, where you trace the history and you from here to from point A to point B, and you're going to get there in a straight line. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're dealing with something that is above our pay grade, something that is completely esoteric to our thinking. And you cannot look at how we got from point A to point B with our standard model of time. It's not going to work. Something else is going on here. They manipulated the fabric of reality somehow. This is just my opinion. I'm just throwing out my thoughts. And I think that's why we haven't come across any books that prove it, or any documentation that proves that there's this mud flood. I don't think that there is going to be that. I think that whatever happened, and then they manipulated it, and then there was no record of it. There was no, it was, they changed it. It's like they changed our reality, and then that new reality, nobody remembered the old reality, that it just overlaid it. And that's why people they didn't know. They don't remember because they didn't know it. They changed it. They completely changed it. But then there's also like how do you even like, oh man, what was it? There was a scene in the show 1923 where the, I forget her name, the blonde lady that's trying to find her husband, the Dutton boy, and she comes through Ellis Island, and what she goes through at Ellis Island is like, people were when they got here from wherever they came from, they didn't give a damn who built the buildings. They didn't give a damn how many buildings there were. They didn't ask no questions. They were more interested in something to eat, shelter, work, subsistence. They cared about figuring out how to fucking survive. They didn't care who built the buildings. They didn't question who built the buildings. The buildings, imagine you get off the boat at Ellis Island, okay, and then you go through this process in Ellis Island. You really should watch that portion of the show because that was interesting to me to see what people went through. That the things, the hoops they made people jump through to get into the country. And they come in and they get off the ferry and they walk into New York and there's this humongous city in front of them. They don't give a damn who built it. They don't give a. It's just there. It's there. They're not questioning who built it. They're not questioning when was this building built. When was that building built? Who built that? How in the world did they build that? They don't care. It's there. That's not their critical mission. Their critical mission is substance. They get the substance. That's what they're after. They don't. That's why, you know, why do people? How? It's like, how did people not know the I'm trying to think of the borough, the Bronx. I think it's the Bronx. Say, correct me if I'm wrong. The Bronx over to the across the river over there where the area that supposedly that damn that they supposedly burned it all down. Is that the Bronx? Or am I? Is that the wrong borough? The point being, you're over in Manhattan. You're not caring what's going on in the Bronx, or in that you don't care what's going on over there. You don't. You're not. It's unimportant. It's there. Okay, you might look across the river and see that there's buildings on the other side of the river when they're not supposed to be there. Okay, imagine that they're not supposed to be there, right? Okay, but if imagine that they were there, you're not questioning why are they there. They're not supposed to be there. You don't know that. Okay, you're not reading history books about when they built this. It's just there. You don't care. You're more interested in where's my food, where's my dinner coming from, where's my water coming from, where's a toilet, I got a poo. That's what you're thinking about. I need to feed my baby. I need to find work. I need a place to stay. That's what you're thinking about. You don't care. You don't care. Bronx, Queens, yeah, Staten Island. I mean, all that's there. Imagine all that's there. But if you look at the historical record, that these things aren't supposed to be there, but they were there. I mean, all you have to do is go back and look at the old films from when those areas were, like the old films, and like you look at these things and you look at their old world. This cover of this thing is so massive, and it's people cannot comprehend how big this is. They don't get it because it's too big, and you have to have a certain level of consciousness to even comprehend this thing. Most people don't have that level of consciousness. Most people, you know, don't have, they're not able to intellectually understand this. The Bronx. Yes, yes. Hey, Morgan. It's so complicated. It is. That's why it's so hard to Explain it to people. That's why that's why I say, no one could be told what the mud flood is. You have to see it for yourself, because I could sit here for days on end trying to explain it to you and showing you picture after picture after picture. But until your consciousness decides to understand it, you're never going to get it. Where did the bricks come from? There is not enough brick manufacturing in the world to assemble all the bricks that are there were there. Yep. So asking me here, let me see here. Seems like be asking if we are fighting Indians off. Why are we overbuilding massive structures? It's funny that the the whole Indian narrative is all messed up. The blacks that were the original slaves were actually here. They didn't bring them over. Um, and a lot of their stories of the Indians were living in homes, in buildings when we got here. We weren't living in teepees. Some were. Um, I also have a feeling that they were the buildings were maybe uninhabitable when we first got here. Yeah, it is. It once you get it, it's like, ah, okay. It, but to get to that point is very difficult, and I, there are so it is so hard to talk to people. Um, there's so many people that I talk to that think they're they think they know shit and they don't know nothing, and it's like, God, I wish you would just wake the fuck up. You'd be so interesting if you'd wake up. I mean, it's you can't wake them up. They have to do it on their own. Nothing you could do about it. Well, I hope y'all are enjoying this research. I think it's really really cool. It's not often that something this good is found by anybody. It's very rare. I mean, we find a lot of stuff. We find a lot of the same stuff. Old Great Fire, old building burned by fire, old bullshit architect, old multiple stories below ground. We find a lot of the same stuff, but to find an anomaly as big as this hump cut thing is rare. Pretty dang cool, if you ask me. And maybe we'll find more. If we're finding this late in the game, you know, y'all, it's out there to be found. There's more. I think there's more. I don't know where. I don't know where to look, and it's um. I think these Sanborn fire maps need to be looked at closer too. I suggest my suggestion to you is if you live in an area that had a Sanborn fire map made, that you should go. Let's okay. I don't. Um, let's say you live in a city that had a Sanborn fire map. My suggestion to you is that you go and meticulously check those maps compared to what is there today. Use whatever you have to. Google Earth or property records, um, and cross reference and check to see what was there and what is gone. And I think you're going to find some very interesting things. Those Sanborn fire maps are very, especially, don't just um, figure out what the keys are. Like each map will have keys, and it'll be like, this means this is this type of structure. This is a brick building. This is an ironclad building. This is a stone building. This is a fireproof building. This building has one basement. This building has two basements. This building has three basements. This building has, tunnels underneath. A lot of these things are listed on these Sanborn fire maps because they were important to fire prevention and fire putting out fires. They were highly detailed in the information. And so if you can go and do what I did on Pittsburgh, on your city, and granted, some of these cities are quite big, but take a little bit at a time and build it. All you got to do is go to the Library of Congress digital website, digital archives, and type in Sanborn fire map in your city. And sometimes you'll find nothing. Sometimes you'll find a fire map. And when I say fire map, I mean we're talking like 100 pages a lot of times or more. 100 different maps within. It's not one map. It's multiple maps. It's many maps. They're very freaking detailed. And then sometimes you'll find multiple years. Okay. But to give you an example, I was looking at the Raleigh, North Carolina Sanborn fire map the other day, and I noticed that there's a place, there's a area that a block, and on this block at one time had a castle, and it was supposedly the deaf, dumb, and blind asylum. Okay. And it was a castle, okay, in downtown Raleigh. Huge thing. And I noticed that there some of the buildings are still there. The castle is gone, but there's some of the buildings are still there. But I noticed in the Sanborn fire map that it showed the new buildings that were built over that area and the old buildings that are still there, but then you could tell that they were pasted over the old Sanborn fire map, and you could see the castle underneath the paste through the paper. And I was thinking, well, that's odd. This is from 1914. Why is it not showing that? I was confused as to what was going on there, because I think the castle was there past 1914, which was what was confusing to me. Then I realized that there was two, or those multiple Sanborn fire maps for Raleigh, but the two that I was interested in right for this conversation is that there was one done in 1914 that has the castle in the map, and then there was a reissue done of the 1914 Sanborn fire map in 1950. And when they made the reissue, they had torn down by 1950, they had torn down the castle, built two buildings over its spot, and just drew them on a piece of paper and then pasted them over the old map, but you could see the castle through it. My point is, there's a lot of fucking information in these maps, and you don't want to just look at one map. You want to look at it as, if there's multiple maps, look at them all, compare them, make comparisons. It's a lot of fun. They are very, very useful, just as useful as the bird's eye view maps, if you're lucky enough to get one of those of your city. There's just so much information that can be taken and gained from those maps. If you're into mudflood research, you've got to know these things. You've got to utilize these tools. I'm teaching you what I do. So like, if I were to kill over right here, right now, y'all would have that information. Okay. Y'all would know it because I've just told you. Okay. I'm passing on. I believe in passing it on. Okay. I don't want to hold on to any of this shit. I want to pass on everything I can, because none of us know, our day and our time. We don't know how long we have. Okay. So I don't want to hold on to anything. I want to share everything I can, not only what I learned, but how I learned it. Does that make sense? There's nothing special about me. It's just I'm interested in this, and I have found tools to help me in my research. And I'm sharing those tools. If you're paying attention, I'm sharing you everything. Where do I get the amazing glass plate negatives from? Library of Congress, Digital Archive. Okay. All right, guys. It's getting a little bit late, and I got some things to do before I hit the sack. But I really appreciate all of you hanging out with me tonight, and we will continue on next week, and we will keep digging this incredible mud that we're looking at, and share with your friends, and invite others. The more the merrier. We're a small group, but I think you guys know what we're doing here is quite special. I really do. So I hope you all have a great week, and I will see each and every one of you very soon. Love, BEAGS.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
No. mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma. Don't you get it?
Say woof again! Say woof again!
I've got one that can see.
Welcome to the underground.
This is my kung fu, and it is strong.
See you later.